All right, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the very first of the maximum effort streams. I'm starting to get my stuff together and put in the requisite effort, and I'd like to show you some of what's new with the stream. So I've had this software for a while, but really haven't put it to its proper use. It's basically an app that turns any mobile phone or tablet into a stream deck. And so I created all these icons and programmed them as buttons to do various things. So this is start the stream. This launches all my programs. And in order to enforce where they spawn, let me just show you this program that I've had for years, and I didn't realize it did any of this stuff. So before we get started with the Try Hack Me stuff, I just wanted to show you some of this neat stuff that I've had for a while and yet never knew kind of that it existed, that it did this stuff. So this is a program called Display Fusion, and its primary purpose, what I bought it for, was to manage multiple monitors. But it has a bunch of other functionality that I never really looked too closely into, one of which is to create functions and triggers. So for example, when the Restream chat app spawns, I can move it to a specific window, and I do that just by physically moving it, manually moving it once, and then you drag this on to it and click it, and it records the position, and anytime it spawns, it will move there automatically. So that's very useful for like when I launch all my programs. So if we open up this here, let's see, it has like this code block style of scripting it. So when I press that button, it opens restream.io, it opens up ChatGPT, which I'm gonna need a lot of the time for working through these Try Hack Me tasks. It will launch Logitech G Hub, Wavelink, and I have wait instructions so that they kind of pile on top of each other in the correct order. OBS Studio opens up, Restream Chat opens up on top of that. So this is all very cool stuff. This is fun for me, and it takes some of, I mean, it's a lot to set up, but once it's set up, it takes a lot of the manual labor and stuff out of it and just makes the entire process more enjoyable. This one is toggle the mute state Elgato mic now. What's interesting about this is that I have it programmed. Let's see, how does this one work? Oh, on event. So when it's muted, I had a script that I had, AI read and turn into a WAV file. And so when the microphone is muted, it will play "your microphone is muted" on loop in my earpiece. So I have an earpiece that just monitors the stream. And on OBS, you can set it up in such a way that it only plays to you and not your audience. So I'm monitoring the stream, but I don't have, you have different audio sources that can contribute to the monitor stream. And so I don't have my microphone, my voice piping into my ear and throwing me off. But I do have this to tell me that my microphone is muted, and that way when I restart the stream, when I restart the stream, I'll hear that I need to turn my microphone back on. So that's fun. And a couple other things that hopefully will be fun for you as well as me. I have, okay, so that just opens up the button. Did I demonstrate this all? I'm not sure I had this on the right screen. So if we go to the hackers button, I can play clips, and one that I'm going to be playing a lot and is appropriate now is this one. Are we fashionably late? Are we fashionably late? That should have played into my monitor. I don't know why it didn't. Let me just check my audio settings. Just bear with me for minutes. Let's see all the... Fashionably monitor and output, but I didn't hear it. Why didn't I hear it? Did you guys hear that at home? Let me try playing it again.
Are we fashionably late? Are we fashionably late?
I'm not hearing it. I'm wondering if it's just because I haven't figured out a way to keep the desktop from piping into my ear. So I have like YouTube playing music in the background. And that might just be too loud or overriding that clip. Let me double check. Let me turn it all the way up and see if that helps. Bear with me, this is all new stuff, and so it's going to take a little bit of debugging, sometimes in real time, since, you know, it's a live stream and all.
Are we fashionably late?
That seemed, on the meters, that seemed super loud, so I don't know how it sounded to any of you at home there, but if you would give me feedback on the chat if you heard Razor and Blade and how loud they were comparably, or if you didn't hear them at all. That's super important feedback. So that's some of the new stuff I'm doing with the stream, and I hope you'll enjoy it. The other thing I'm doing is taking proper notes and really working through the tasks beforehand. So, and I'll share those notes on Cyberspaceman Mike as well, and you'll have access to them too. All right, let's get started then, shall we? I've learned so much just in the first few Try Hack Me rooms here, especially just in terms of Linux commands and what can go wrong and how to troubleshoot those things. And I hope you've learned a lot as well. So let's see here. One of the things I've learned, I was looking, because in one of the streams we had so many command lines spawned that we didn't know which one was which, and so I thought there must be a way to name the different windows and keep them organized up here. That's not how you do it. You spawn tabs from this file section here, and then you can rename them all. All right, looks like I'm not logged in. Let's maximize it so that I can log in. Hey, I see that somebody has joined us. Can you tell me if you can hear this at home? This clip?
Are we fashionably late?
Okay. They left as soon as I acknowledged them. This is going to be more difficult than I had expected. I am not a robot. All right, we have to, let's see, active, lateral movements. And of course, it's the third thing that comes up for whatever reason. Let's start up. And I have access already always spawned here. Download the configuration file. Oop, we need to select networks. We need to select lateral movement. Let's regenerate it just to be sure. And then download configuration file. And we're going to rename it as per usual. Something easy to type in. Lat move to, and cd to downloads, and I think it's sudo, right? It's one of the things we have to sudo. Lat move 1. It doesn't seem to be working. Maybe because it takes 5 minutes for the network to start up. So we'll let that run for a little bit. Now, for whatever reason, thanks to my new monitoring capabilities, I've noticed that the music stream has stopped playing. Let me see if I can restart it manually here. So while we're doing that, let's see if I can get any of the other clips to play into the monitor.
Fight the planet!
According to OBS levels indicator, it is playing, but according to my monitor, it is not. Well, I mean, this is all gone very wrong so far. This was supposed to be my triumphant return to live streaming, where everything was going to be that much better and work out and everything, but I'm sure it'll get better. Let's try this again. Hopefully now. No. Well, it's only been 3 minutes. See, again, somebody is tuned in. Can you please do me a favor and let me know if you can hear this? Because I can't hear in my monitor.
Fight the planet!
Let me know if Hack the Planet played. Oh, they left as soon as I mentioned it. I have the best audience in the world. Uptime 4 minutes. Still nothing, huh? And notice that there's 4 or 5 people voting to restart the network, so there may be a problem there as well. In the old days, this would be very much anxiety inducing, but I have the sweet synthwave sounds playing in my monitor, so let's try this again. I see somebody is tuned in. Please tell me if you can hear the following clip.
Fight the planet!
Let me know in chat if you were able to hear that. I wasn't able to hear it through my monitor, but OBS is telling me that it is exacting the proper levels. Again, please let me know in the chat if you can hear this.
Hide the planet!
Can you hear the clips? Type, oh, they left again. 1 for yes or 2 for no. Everybody leaving is a sign. Alright, it's been 5 minutes, so if this doesn't work, we're going to have to vote to reset the network. And it's not working. Let me just look at our interfaces. Yeah, it's not working. Let's reset it. Please wait a few minutes whilst the network resets. Alright, somebody's here. Let me know if you can hear this clip, please. 1 for yes or 2 for no. You don't even have to type in words. Please don't run off. I would really like to know if all my work is for naught, or if you're able to hear the clips. They're not playing in my monitor. But OBS seems to indicate that they are exacting levels. And they left. Reset 505. Why hasn't it reset? Bear with me for a moment. I get to push more buttons. Let's see if these work. Hey there, thanks for joining me. Please don't run off. I'm testing a whole new system and I need some feedback. Let me know if you can hear this clip, because it's supposed to play on my monitor and I'm not hearing it. Alright, type 1 for yes or 2 for no.
Hide the planet!
Can you hear that? 1 or 2, yes or no. And in the meantime, we've reset the network, supposedly. And we have to get a new... Well, let's test this. Can you hear my voice, even? Hi, Dr. Wolf. Can you hear me? OBS is acting weird. Okay, good. Now, moment of truth. Let me know if you can hear Zero Cool.
Hide the planet!
We're able to hear him. Oh, good. All right, I very much appreciate you joining me and giving me some feedback. I'm testing out a whole bunch of new technology here, trying to get the stream to be the best as it can. And kind of off to a shaky start here, but I think it'll get better as I go. Oh, did you leave? All right. Well then. I think we're up to 3 now, right? Oh, maybe I had the wrong OpenVPN certificate to begin with. All right. In any event, it has now worked. And we are going to do task 3, spawning processes remotely. All right. Now, this is going to be a problem if this doesn't work. Because instead of... One of the problems we had with the stream was... This is we're just going to run through the tasks. I hope to work up to doing CTF, but this is basically, hi Crash, I appreciate that. You're here as well. Speaking of Crash, one more time, I have a bunch of clips queued up, so that's fun for me. We're just going to work through these tasks on Try Hack Me and learn about lateral movement in Active Directory. And one of the problems I had with the previous streams is it's hard for me to like read these and pay attention to them at the same time. I'm so worried about like screwing up, being articulate, that sort of thing. So I've pre-recorded them, but if I can't hear them in my monitor, I'm not going to be able to pause and play them as we go along. Again, this is all kind of very much experimental at this point. This is what, task 3? So let's see if I can hear
this
task 3.
Will look at the available methods an attacker has to spawn a process remotely, allowing them to run commands on machines where they have valid credentials.
This is very
Each of the techniques discussed uses slightly different ways to achieve the same purpose, and some of them might be a better fit for some specific scenarios.
Maybe, oh, you know what? I bet I have the wrong monitor
TCP
profile
SMB.
set up.
Required group memberships, administrators. SecSec has been the go-to method when needing to execute processes remotely for years.
So just enjoy
it allows an administrator user to run commands remotely on any PC where he has access. SecSec is one of many sysinternals tools and can be downloaded here. The way SecSec works is as follows. Connect to admin $share and upload a service binary.
I think I'm looking for settings.
SecSec uses secsec.exe as the name. Connect to the Service Control Manager to create and run a service named secsec and associate the service binary with c:\windows\psexcsvc.exe. Create some named pipes to handle stin/stout/stare. To run secsec, we only need to supply the required administrator credentials for the remote host and the command we want to run, sexx64.exe is available under C:\tools in THMJMP2 for your convenience. Remote process creation using WinRM. Ports 5985/TCP, WinRM HTTP, or 5986/TCP, WinRM HTTPS. Required group memberships, remote management users. Windows Remote Management, WinRM, is a web-based protocol used to send PowerShell commands to Windows hosts remotely. Most Windows Server installations will have WinRM enabled by default, making it an attractive attack vector. To connect to a remote PowerShell session from the command line, we can use the following command. We can achieve the same from PowerShell, but to pass different credentials, we will need to create a PS credential object.
We're going to spawn a reverse shell.
Once we have our PS credential object, we can create an interactive session using the enter PS session command. PowerShell also includes the invoke command command, which runs script blocks remotely via WinRM.
And we're going to
credentials must be passed through a PS credential object as well.
That is
remotely creating services using SC.
And the purpose of using a service executable is that it'll be a little more difficult to discover, and it won't be automatically killed off
445/TCP
Windows.
RPC over SMB named
here,
pipes.
the first thing we're going to do is create a payload.
139/TCP
And you have to
RPC over
change the
SMB
service
named
name
pipes.
on attack box.
Required group memberships,
And we upload
administrators.
the payload. Again, we
Windows
have to make sure we
services can also
specify
be
the
leveraged
proper
to run arbitrary
service
commands
name.
since they execute a
And
command
we're
when
uploading
started.
it to THM
While a service executable is technically different from a regular application, if we configure a Windows service to run any application, it will still execute it and fail afterwards. We can create a service on a remote host with SCEXE, a standard tool available in Windows. When using SC, it will try to connect to the Service Control Manager, SVCCTL, remote service program through RPC in several ways. A connection attempt will be made using DCE/RPC.
There's a lot of crazy
the client will
problems
first
with
connect to
For
the
example,
endpoint mapper, EPM, at
let's
port
just look at the
135,
code
which serves
section.
as a catalog of available
So,
RPC endpoints and request
one of the things I
information
want
on
to
the
do
SVCCTL
for
service
myself and
program.
for people at home is
The EPM will then respond with the
these-
IP and port to
put the
connect
things
to
that you have to change and
SVCCTL, which is
specify
usually a dynamic port in the range
in
of
bold.
49,152
and
to
if I were just to copy
65,535.
and paste anything
If the latter
that's
connection
code that has
fails,
an at in
SC
it,
will try to reach
automatically
SVCCTL through
makes it a
SMB
link.
named pipes, either on
So-
port
and you can't change it.
445
And the only way
SMB
to
or 139
get
SMB
around
over
that is
NetBIOS.
to make sure you
We
format
can
it.
create and start a service named THM
as
service
code.
using the following commands.
But now look at what
The
happens
net
when you
user
format
command
it
will
as
be
code.
executed when the service
Notice
is
when I
started,
click on it,
creating a
it
new
has
local
these,
user on the system. Since the operating system is in charge of starting the
single
service, you won't be able to
quotation
look
marks
at
or
the
whatever
command
they're
output.
called.
To
And
stop
so
and delete
now
the
if I were to
service,
copy
we can
and
then
paste
execute
this,
the following
it
commands.
wouldn't run. I would have to
Creating scheduled tasks remotely. Another Windows
delete
feature we can use is
all
scheduled
the
tasks.
added garbage that
You can create
Obsidian
and run
adds
one
to it.
remotely
Like,
with tasks
I don't know.
available
It's been
in any
very
Windows
frustrating.
installation.
Now,
To create
one
a
of the things
task
I
named
did
TH Task 1,
when I
we
upload
can
these
use the following
commands to
commands.
cyberspacemanmike.com,
We set the schedule type /SC
I have
to once,
ChatGPT
which means the
edit
task
out
is intended to be
all
run only
the
once at the
weird
specified
single
time and
quotes
date.
and stuff so that you can
Since
copy
we will
and
be
paste
running the
them,
task
but you
manually,
can't copy and
the
paste
starting
them
date
directly from
/SD
Obsidian.
and starting time
So I am
/sync
currently
won't matter much
using
anyway.
test driving Obsidian,
Since
but
the system
I
will
do
run
not
the scheduled
recommend
task,
it.
the command's output won't be available to us, making this a blind attack.
And then
Finally, to delete the scheduled task,
4, set
we
up
can
a
use the
listener
following
using-
command and clean up after
I
ourselves.
think it's Netcat in our
ETs
attack
get
box
to work.
to receive the reverse shell
To
connection.
complete this exercise, you will need to
Step 5,
connect
we're
to
gonna
THMJMP2 using the
into
credentials assigned to you in task 1
jump
from
2 using creds from the creds page. 6, we're going to use run as to spawn a second reverse shell
If you haven't
using
done so yet, click on the link and get credentials now.
NC64.exe with
Once you
T1
have your
Leonard
credentials,
Summers access
connect to
token on
THMJMP2 via
jump
SSH.
2, and we have to type the password
SSHZA
correctly there.
//AD username
So,
at thmjmp2.za.tryhack.com.
We
For this
have all the
exercise,
tools
we will
of
assume we have
opening
already
up a
captured some
reverse shell on
credentials with
THM
administrative access.
jump 2, that's
User
where the NC64
za.tryhack.com
executable comes into play.
/T1_Leonard.Summers. Password EasyPass
but
forever.
with THM
We'll show how to use those
IIS,
credentials to
we have
move
to create
laterally
a
to
payload
THMIIS
and
using
do a bunch of other
SCEXE.
steps. So that's
Feel free to try the other methods,
some of this
as they all
was
should
kind of
work
hard
against
for me to wrap my head
THMIIS.
around. I don't mind.
While we have already shown how to
admitting.
use SC to create a user on a
And then
remote
7,
system
create a new
by using
service remotely
NetUser,
by
we
using
can also upload
SC
any
and
binary we'd like to
associating with
execute
our
and associate
upload
it with the
binary from
created
the
service.
attack box listener,
However,
which then
if
gives
we try
us
to
the
run a
reverse
reverse shell
on
using this
THM
method,
IIS.
we will notice that the reverse
We have to
shell
change the
disconnects
service name
immediately
there,
after
too.
execution. The reason for this is that service executables are different to standard.exe files, and therefore non-service executables will end up being killed by the service manager almost immediately.
A second and third time.
Luckily
or
for us,
time.
Venom supports the exe service format,
I once
which will
made the mistake of
encapsulate any
replacing
payload
all
we
of
like inside a
lhost
fully
equals
functional
attacker
service
IP with the IP in
executable,
step
preventing
1
it from
when
getting
creating
killed.
the payload. This was
To create a
difficult
reverse
to
shell,
troubleshoot
we
since
can
the
use the
error
following
didn't manifest
command.
until step 2. So
Note,
I
since you will be sharing
misconfigured
the lab with
payload.
others, you'll want to use a
which is
different
a
file
problem.
name for your payload instead
Like, you
of
have to specify the correct
myservice.exe
IP.
to avoid overriding someone else's payload.
VS Codium
We will then
for
proceed to use
notes. I will
T1_Leonard.Summers
try that
credentials to
because
upload our
I'm
payload to the
ready to
admin
make the
$share
switch. I've been using
THMIS
Obsidian for
using some
about a week
client
and
from
I'm
our
ready to
attack
make the
box.
switch already.
Once our
It does
executable
do
is
a
uploaded,
nice,
we will
like,
set up a listener on the attacker's machine to receive the reverse shell from
Like
his
if
console.
you connect and link
Alternatively,
your notes
you
and
can
stuff,
run the
it'll make a
following
nice
one-liner
graph for
on your
you,
Linux
but that's not
console to
really
do
what
the
I'm
same.
after, and that seems to be
Since
its major
SCEXE
selling
doesn't allow us
feature.
to specify credentials as part of the command,
In
we
fact,
need to
I'm
use
amazed I
runners to spawn a
remembered
new
exactly
shell
what I
with
typed in to make that mistake.
T1_Leonard.Summers
Yeah, so I
access
was
token.
thinking, why aren't the
Still,
commands
we
still
only have
working? I've
SSH
finally
access to
done
the
everything
machine,
correctly.
so if we tried
and then it
something like
occurred to me- usually you get feedback right away, right? When the commands don't work.
T1_Leonard.Summers command
But this-
exe,
the
the
problem
new
didn't
command
manifest
prompt would
until-
spawn on the user session, but we
This
would have
is
no access
step
to
1,
it.
and then the problem didn't
To
manifest
overcome this
until
problem,
step 7.
we can
so
use runas to spawn a
it
second
was,
reverse shell with
a little bit of troubleshooting there.
T1_Leonard.Summers access token.
Step 7, I had a lot of
Note,
problems
remember
there.
that since you are
If
using
DNS
runas
is
with the
wonky, it might
/net
not
only
work. You
option,
can
it will
replace
not bother to
the
check
domain
if the
name
provided credentials are valid.
THMIS with
More
its
info on
IP
this on
address.
the enumerating AD room,
I think 90%
so be sure to type the
of our
password
problems
correctly.
thus far have been.
If you don't, you will see some access denied
related.
errors later in the room.
And then we have
We
to
can receive the reverse
pay
shell
special
connection
attention
using
to the
NC
spaces.
in our attack box as usual.
SCEXE is weird about it,
And
you
finally,
have to copy the
proceed to
commands
create a new
exactly,
service
including the
remotely by
spaces.
using SC, associating it
3.
with our uploaded
THM
binary.
service must be
Be
replaced
sure
with
to
the name you
change the
choose
name
for
of
your
your service
service.
to avoid clashing with
sans
other
EXE,
students.
so no EXE.
Once you have
This
started
is
the
an easy
service,
one to miss,
you
as
should receive a
THM
connection in
has
your
abandoned
attack
their
box
previous
from where you
convention
can
of using
access
a
the
dollar
first
sign
flag
to
on
denote what needs to be custom
T1_Leonard.Summers
specified.
desktop.
It's also a bit confusing because THM has named the executable my service, and the service can be independent of the service executable as far as I know. So if, like me, you confuse service and the service executable and the executable, I forgive you because I've done the exact same thing a number of times. Question and answers. These are some of the questions I had when going through this. I'm going to post this all on Cyberspace Man Mike. And these are the answers that chat gave me. So we're all going to lose our jobs to robots at some point. All right, let's get started. Oh, they do some of this out of order as far as I'm concerned too. Like they set up the listener after running what it should listen for. So we're going to follow my steps rather than their steps. So first we're going to create the payload. We're just going to copy this in. And what do we have to change here? We have to change the attacker IP, and we have to change the name of the executable. So let's go back here. Let's get our IP. I think you can specify just the adapter too. I think you can just type in lateral movement, Control-Shift-C, not Control-Shift, or not Control-C. All right. So again, when I went through this previously, I accidentally pasted over everything here, and that problem didn't manifest until step 7, and that didn't work. Nope. Stop it. There we go. I'm just going to hit the end button here, and hopefully I'll be at the executable name. And I'm going to call it super duper definitely not my service executable. That's for plausible deniability. That way, if anybody comes across this, it's super duper definitely not my service. And hit enter on that. I hope I can remember that. Let me make a note of it somewhere. Super duper definitely not my service.exe. All right, our payload is created. We're going to, you know what, I'm going to open up a page with all the creds here. So cd try hack me lateral movement and nano creds and easy pass forever. I should have been able to remember that. I've gone through this so many times. All right, now we have to upload it to, I'll just show you the diagram of the network real quick. There's the diagram. We're going to SSH into THM jump 2. Right now we're uploading a payload to THM IIS. All right. And where are we here? Here we are. Now, for some reason, I've seen other people do this. They include the password there, but it prompts you for it anyway, so I don't know what that's all about. But in the interest of hopefully not screwing up anything at all, I should hit the home key. Screw duper, definitely not my service.exe. And go. Maybe it's just for the purpose of seeing it there. Failed. All right, let's take a look here. Oh, we didn't do the OpenVPN stuff yet. Wait, we did. We didn't configure DNS yet. All right. So let's go to my cheat sheet here, or, I mean, you can. At this point, the computer knows exactly what I want it to do. Hey, if you hold down Control and arrow, it will just skip over the first word. It will autofill the first word and not the rest of the stuff. All right. So resolve to control, and we want what? DNS first, and lateral movement. And what's the IP address of our domain controller? Why am I looking up here? I always do that. 71. Oh, it's the same. All right, so we can just hit enter on that. Password. And let's see. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. Control arrow and domain Cali, and just out of morbid curiosity, let's see if NS lookup. Oh, it works. Holy cow. Sometimes NS lookup, most of the time NS lookup gives us false negatives. So in that case, what I like to do is just resolve status and then the name of the adapter, and to see if DNS is configured correctly. So, all right, now DNS is configured correctly. We can go back here and SSH in. And for some reason it failed again. What am I doing wrong? Let's try the... I don't think it's password related. Let's ping stuff. Okay, let's ping... server we want, or the computer we want. We can't ping it even. So what the hell is that all about? %100% packet loss. Why can we NS look up this? Can we ping THM jump 2? This is a first where DNS resolves, but you can't ping it. Oh, okay, it's working now. Let's see if we can... Maybe it was some sort of temporary problem. So what's the deal? THMIIS is just down? Ooh, I have a perfect clip for that.
What is it? What's wrong?
Nothing, it's just a minor glitch.
Minor glitch with you seems to turn into a major catastrophe.
Yeah, major catastrophe. So we can DNS resolves and we can ping most of the computers, but the one computer we currently need right now, we have 100% packet loss. We can't ping it. I don't think it's even up. It says network state. Let's refresh this because that is incorrect. Uptime 23 minutes. All right, since we're not going to be able to reset the room a second time, the only thing we can really do is leave the room, and it says you're supposed to wait 30 minutes, but I've found that not to be the case. So we don't have much of a other option. Morbid curiosity, once again, let's see if we can and it's lookup. That's bizarre. Did I type in the... Sometimes I think the people that try hack me are messing with me because of my expose. The advent of cyber expose where I show that they're scamming people. And now I think they might be messing with me. Like stream sniping me, making sure that I can't connect to the computers I need to connect to. What do you think? Is that within the realm of possibility? Because this is ridiculous, just the number of problems I encounter with the try hacking machines. So the name resolves, but we can't ping it. So it seems like they're purposely filtering some traffic. Let's try SSHing again, or SMBing. Well, it worked this time. Okay. I'm not even going to question it. I don't even care. I'm just going to move on. All right. So we've created our payload and we've uploaded our payload. The next step is to create a listener. And you can either type it out manually and set lhost, set your port, set your payload, or you can just copy and paste all this. And let me check my notes. I just want to double check because sometimes I just glaze over. Is there anything we need to change here? No. No special parameters to specify, because we don't even have to specify our attack box IP. We just specify the adapter, the interface, whatever you call it. And send that. And stuff should happen momentarily here. Bear with me. All right, let's just look a little bit further on here. Okay, so the reverse handler has started, and I'm gonna rename this window. Interpreter. I don't know if I'm spelling that correctly. And this window, what do I want to name this? Nothing yet. I just want to clear it. All right. This is our creds page, so I'm going to rename that. Just a bit of housekeeping here to keep everything nice and clean. We have to run the run as command, but we haven't yet SSH'd in. Why didn't we do that? I think they have some of this out of order, but let's SSH in. Do we have creds for Tony Holland, or should we go back and get creds? All right, so let's go to our creds page. It seems like DNS is working. If DNS is working, then this will work. Oh boy, did I jinx it? I think we can just use these creds if we wanted to, but I'm a little interested to see if this works here. Where do they have the creds button? Okay. All right. So we already have, we don't have her. Jenna Field. Bear with me for a second. Something's going on with the cats. Coda Kitty, are you okay? She's fine. All right, back to work. SSHing. Not Tony Holland. It's going to be Jenna Field. Capital I. Income 1982. And we're in. And I don't have a clip saying that we're in. I asked ChatGPT if there was a spot in Hackers where they say I'm in, and she just made up stuff. She just hallucinated stuff. She was like, yeah, Joey says it, Crash Override says it, Acid Burn says it. And then I found a transcript of the movie's Hackers and looked for I'm in. It's not there. She just lied to me. I assume ChatGPT is a woman. I'm not entirely sure. All right, I've lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, this is the part where I think they're out of order here. Because they want us to have THM jump to shout out its reverse shell when we don't have a listener yet. So let's rename this. Oh, let's just delete it all. Okay. Let's try again. Income 1982. And we're back in. Let's rename it. Let's not close it. And this is going to be HM jump to. Now, before we do anything more here, we want to create our listener and see. And now, let me look at my notes so I can explain exactly what's going on here. Hopefully. We're on what? Step 4, we just set up a listener using NC in our attack box to receive the reverse shell connection. 5, SSH, so we did this a little out of order too. Now we have to use run as to spawn a second reverse shell using NC64 EXE with T1 Leonard Summers access token on THM jump 2. So I guess, have we already spawned the... some of this is copied and paste from THM's explanation, and I don't quite agree with a lot of it. I mean, we've uploaded our payload, but I don't think it's spawned the reverse shell yet. So technically this, I would think, would be our first reverse shell. Anyways, let's just forge ahead here. Now, a bunch of stuff we have to change here. Our attacker IP. Not a bunch of stuff, just our attacker IP. All right. New tab. We're just going to move this to the back here. IP A 506510 1050.65.10. E Z. You know what? I'm gonna look at this a second time. Just because it's real important to get this right. It's not going to tell us whether or not it's right. So it appears to have worked, but we won't really know. And there's a way you can check. I saw somebody do it using logging into THM IIS and looking up sysvol or something like that. But all right, this is step 7. Create a new service remotely by using SC and associating it with our uploaded binary from the attack box listener, which then gives us the reverse shell on THM IIS. And so it's going to change from so this is where we had our listener, and this is where we're going to type in our commands now, I believe, because my interpreter hasn't shown any signs of movement yet. So we're typing this is our first reverse shell, and from here we're gonna execute our second reverse shell, I think, right? All right. Deep breath. This is where I always screw things up. Step 7 here. So this is not what we want. I'm trying to move over my notes. I'm desperately trying to move over my notes. Let me just snap it. Oh, that's not. All right, step 7. If DNS is wonky, it might not work. Try replacing the domain name THM IIS with its IP address. Pay special attention to the spaces. SCEXE is weird about it, and you have to copy the commands exactly. THM service must be replaced with the name you choose for your service, sans EXE. This is an easy one to miss, as THM has abandoned their previous convention of using a $sign to denote what needs to be custom specified. It's also a bit confusing because THM has named the executable myservice.exe, and the service name can be independent of the service executable. And so, like I said before, if you confuse the... Why is this... If you confuse the service and the service executable, I forgive you, because I do the same thing a lot of times. All right, now we're having all sorts of problems with resizing. Oh, by the way, I don't know why this keeps coming up because I have notifications turned off in Windows. So if anybody knows how I can get mini tools to be less annoying, I would appreciate it. Let's try dragging it around and then expanding it. That will confuse it, dragging it around. We don't want the computer to know our next move. All right, if snapping got us, no, now I'm snapping inside the virtual machine. Snapping created this problem. Can snapping get us out of it? Delay on maximizing it, that's great. And move it around. Alexa, what's the hotkey to maximize a window?
Here's something I found on the web. According to Ubuntu.com, to maximize a window, grab the Windows title bar and drag it to the top of the screen.
This is very embarrassing. And go. Go. Okay, what if I try that? Nope. Just disappears. Oh, I hate everything. I was so optimistic about the stream. I put so much effort into it. And now everything is ruined. Huh? Huh? No. Alright, what if I try maximizing it in a different monitor? Will it develop some sort of muscle memory and be able to maximize in other windows as a result? It's not even maximizing. Let's try with the Windows buttons. Ooh, what if I do this? I don't even know where the buttons for this monitor are anymore. I've never turned it off manually. Are there buttons? I suppose there don't have to be anymore. Alright, I'm gonna push buttons on my Stream Deck here. That'll be fun for me. And just bear with me for a little bit. All right, and we're back. And the trick was in the VMware. Oh, I see. It's still problematic, huh? The final solution was in the VMware Player itself was to Control-Alt-Enter. But now the VM is not really within the bounds of the VM Player window. Okay. All right. So enter full screen and exit full screen. Good to know. Step 7. This is where I run into all the problems. Not least of which is the fact that you have to type the entire thing out because your arrow keys don't seem to work ever. So control number, oh, you know what? I think DNS is working, so we don't have to specify the IP here. thmiis.ca. Control arrow. THM service, we're going to call it, what did we call? I just want to make absolutely sure I have the right name. And it's super duper definitely not my service. Oh, again, we leave off the exe. We're just spawning the service, not the executable. 3249. Bin path equals space. Very important. Apparently, I've heard tell. Winder. And now, this is the part where we have to specify the exe. So, super duper definitely not my service.exe. And I have the quotes there in the proper place, so that's a good thing. Start equals space auto. Let's double check, because this is the make or break portion. 3249 bin path winder super duper definitely not my service.exe. Everything looks good. Let's send it. SCEXE command not found. I think that's because for some reason it's underlined. Why is it underlined? Why is everything underlined? Why is it? Oh, we're in the... How do we jump out of... Oh, Control C jumped us out of the... Oh, okay. I should have just ran the command and gotten the error. But I hit Control C and that took us right out of our reverse shell. That's why the command wasn't found, because we're in the wrong computer. Did your mom buy you a computer? I gotta add that clip. All right, so we gotta run our reverse shell again using NC64EXE. Easy pass forever. You know what? I am going to super definitely double check this. Easy pass forever. And we didn't set up our listener. they have this out of order in the Try Hack Me instructions as well. Like they have you spawn your reverse shell, and then spawn your listener. And I don't think it works that way. I think you're supposed to spawn your listener and then your reverse shell. So, let's do it all over again. Easy, say it with me, pass forever. There we go, see? Spawn your listener, then the reverse shell. All right, we're back in for... That's the new catchphrase for hackers. It's not we're in, it's we're back in. I've said it at least twice today. And we can't copy and paste that, so let's just type it in. exe blah, 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 thmIS.za.hackme.com create super duper definitely not my service -3249 bin path equals winder super duper definitely not my service.exe, and I don't have a quote at the beginning there. Super duper definitely not my service exe, and start equals auto. Success! Yay! I got a little ahead of myself there. It was wishful thinking. exe thmIS. We're over the worst parts now. This is we're in the home stretch. Super duper definitely not my service 3249. And now something should have happened on Meterpreter. Yay! Where are we? I think we're on thmIS. I think this was I think we're just sending commands to thmIS from jump 2. This is our jump 2 reverse shell. This is our thmIS reverse shell. So I'm not going to attempt to really explain that further. I have a tenuous grasp on this. Check the cyberspacemanmike.com page. I have a bunch of additional information on what's going on here. And yeah. All right. So now what do we have to do? Once we have started the service, you should receive a connection in your attack box from where you can access the first flag on T1 Leonard Summers desktop. I was poking around this computer before, and there's a .json file that has everybody's username and password. But for right now, I don't remember exactly. I didn't take notes at the time, so I don't exactly know where that's located. I guess you could, like, grep or whatever the Windows equivalent is for some of the JSON files. There's probably a bunch of them, but anyways, so we're going to cd c users T1 Leonard Summers, and then his desktop, and I think we just type in flag outwit.exe to run it, right? THM, moving with services. Alright. And from now on, because we have all the buttons here, anytime we get a flag, that's not the flag. Hold on. Copy selection. Control-Alt, Control-Shift-V. Anytime we get a flag, we're going to play the following clip.
Fight the planet!
Hopefully you there at home can hear that. Let's give it a follow up there with Serial Killer. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this super high effort stream, maximum effort stream. I don't know if the juice was worth the squeeze. Hopefully it was. That's all I'll say. We ran into a bunch of technical difficulties. This is a learning process for me as much as it is for anyone else, and I'm gonna go back and watch the footage, see why certain things aren't playing into my new monitor, see why if and when the Stream Deck isn't working properly, figure out a bunch of stuff. Anyways, we got through it finally. We got the flag. We got through this task. That's where we're going to end it tonight. I appreciate everybody who tuned in, and especially everybody who stuck with me and interacted. And yeah, that's it. All right. Hex Planet. Thank you. Goodbye.